It was 10:15 on a Tuesday night when the HOA president stood on my front porch, clutching a report card like it was a winning lottery ticket. Her kids' straight A's were scrolled in pencil on a wrinkled sheet of paper, and she was demanding that I hand over my brand new Nintendo Switch 2 as a reward befitting his academic achievement. The porch light flickered across her face, revealing eyes that blazed with entitlement and a mouth twisted into what she probably thought was a winning smile, but looked more like a grimace. Neighbors peeked through blinds as her voice carried across the entire cul-de-sac. Someone across the street muttered loud enough for everyone to hear, "Is she really doing this again?" Yes. Yes, she was. And this time, she had crossed a line that would cost her everything she had built in our little suburban kingdom. My name is Trevor Clean, a 32-year-old IT consultant who moved to Pinewood Meadows 3 years ago to enjoy some peace, a backyard grill, and uninterrupted gaming time after long days of fixing server crashes and dealing with ransomware attacks. I pay my HOA dues on time, mow my lawn every Saturday morning, and keep to myself. The most controversial thing I had done before this incident was paint my front door navy blue instead of the approved midnight blue, a rebellion so minor that even the pickiest neighbors just shrugged. The problem was Monica Harrow, the HOA's self-crowned morality officer, who had somehow convinced enough apathetic homeowners to vote her into power 2 years ago. She was 43, drove a white SUV with a "baby on board" sticker despite her son being 14, and was infamous for printing up her own fake citations on pastel stationery and stuffing them in mailboxes like hate-flavored Easter eggs. Her husband, David, was a quiet accountant who spent most evenings in his garage workshop, probably hiding from the chaos that was his home life. Monica started her campaign against me with small provocations. First came notes claiming my mailbox was too whimsical, even though it was literally beige with standard black numbers. Then she accused me of illegal squirrel feeding, because one dared to climb my fence to reach the bird feeder in my backyard. She even tried to fine me $50 for excessive dandelions in my lawn during spring, claiming they were bringing down property values by attracting undesirable pollinators. Finally, when she saw a delivery guy hand me a Switch 2 box on a Saturday afternoon, she spread a rumor through the neighborhood Facebook group that I was hoarding unregistered gaming equipment. She actually used those words, as if video game consoles required some kind of permit. The post got 17 laugh reactions before she deleted it in shame. But the damage to her ego was done. She escalated fast after that embarrassment. Within a week, she was snooping around my backyard with a clipboard in hand, snapping photos of my recycling bin like she was working a sting operation for the FBI. She took pictures of my patio furniture arrangement, claiming it violated the HOA's feng shui guidelines, which I later discovered did not exist in any official documentation. Her son Brandon would sometimes accompany her on these reconnaissance missions, looking mortified as his mother measured the height of my garden gnome with a ruler. The situation reached a boiling point when I hosted a small barbecue for my coworkers. Monica showed up uninvited, marched through my backyard gate, and started lecturing my guests about proper meat smoking techniques and how the smell was creating a hostile environment for her son studying. My boss Sarah nearly choked on her burger trying not to laugh when Monica whipped out a decibel meter app on her phone to measure our conversation volume. Then came that fateful Tuesday night. I had just settled in to test out my new Switch 2 when the doorbell rang. Through the peephole, I saw Monica standing there with Brandon lurking behind her, his face red with embarrassment. She was holding his report card like it was a sacred document, waving it in the air as soon as I opened the door. She said with a triumphant tone that her Brandon had achieved straight A's this semester, making him the top student at Riverside Middle School. She continued with growing intensity that such academic excellence deserved recognition beyond what she, as a single-income household, could provide. Then came the demand that made my jaw drop. She declared that, as a member of this community who clearly had disposable income for frivolous purchases, I had a moral obligation to contribute to Brandon's success by gifting him my Switch 2. When I told her calmly but firmly to leave my property, she dialed 911 while standing on my porch, claiming I had stolen property belonging to an underage child. She told the dispatcher with fake tears in her voice that I was holding gaming equipment that rightfully belonged to her son as an academic achievement award. She even claimed there was an HOA bylaw requiring residents to support exceptional students, which was a complete fabrication. The cops arrived within 15 minutes, 2 officers who looked like they had seen it all but were still somehow surprised by this call. Officer Reynolds, a veteran with graying temples, took one look at the situation and sighed deeply. His partner, Officer Chen, was younger and seemed to be fighting back laughter as Monica frantically showed them the report card and gestured wildly at my house. They saw my switch receipt that I had wisely kept in my wallet. They also saw Monica's mountain of bogus HOA citations she had brought as evidence of my character, her trespassing photos that ironically proved she had been stalking me, and her homemade authority badge that said Community Enforcement Officer, in Comic Sans font, laminated with actual glitter glue that sparkled under the porch light. Officer Reynolds looked at the badge, then at Monica, then back at the badge with an expression of pure disbelief. He asked her slowly if she understood that impersonating a law enforcement officer was a crime. Monica protested that she was not impersonating anyone, that community enforcement officer was a legitimate HOA position she had created herself. The younger officer had to turn away to hide his grin. The officers realized instantly that Monica was not just a neighborhood nag, but a genuine liability. They wrote her up for filing a false police report, a misdemeanor that carried potential jail time and fines. They warned her about stalking charges, trespassing, and harassment. Officer Reynolds muttered to his partner loud enough for everyone to hear that this was his 3rd call about Monica Harrow this month alone. As they led Monica away in handcuffs for the false report, she screamed that she would sue everyone, including the police department, the delivery company that brought my Switch 2, and Nintendo itself for creating such an attractive nuisance. Brandon stood frozen on my lawn, and I quietly told him he could come over and play the Switch 2 anytime he wanted, as long as his mom was not involved. He nodded gratefully before his aunt arrived to pick him up. Word spread through Pinewood Meadows faster than wildfire in August. By morning, the neighborhood group chat was flooded with memes of Monica photoshopped as a video game boss titled Karen Harrow, HOA Overlord, complete with health bars and special attacks like Citation Storm and Glitter Badge Blast. Someone even created a bingo card of Monica's greatest hits, including Squares 4, Feng Shui Violation, and Excessive Dandelion Accusation. The emergency HOA meeting was scheduled for that Thursday evening. Monica had been released on bail and marched into the community center conference room in her best power suit, ready to reassert her authority over what she called a minor misunderstanding. She had prepared a 20-slide PowerPoint presentation about community values and the importance of supporting gifted children. She never got to show a single slide. The meeting opened with a unanimous vote of no confidence. Her removal was swift, brutal, and punctuated by laughter when one neighbor, elderly Mr. Patterson, read her bogus switch redistribution policy, aloud in a fake British accent. The policy actually stated that any gaming console valued over $300 should be considered communal property during academic achievement seasons. The real kicker came when the HOA treasurer, Janet Morrison, revealed the results of an emergency audit. Monica had been funneling HOA dues into something she called a morale fund, which translated to $700 worth of scented candles, wine, and spa gift certificates for herself. She had also used HOA funds to print those fake citations and to laminate her ridiculous badge at a professional print shop. Monica left the meeting red-faced and shaking, clutching Brandon's report card like a life raft in stormy seas. The final vote was 47-1, with Monica being the only vote against her removal. Even her husband David, who had quietly attended the meeting, voted for her removal, which caused her to glare at him with such intensity that he actually flinched. 2 weeks later, Monica appeared in court for the false police report charge. The judge, clearly unimpressed with her behavior, sentenced her to 100 hours of community service, specifically at a local youth center where she would learn about actual ways to support children's education. She was also fined $2,500 and placed on probation for 6 months. When the judge announced the sentence, Monica's face turned purple, and she started to speak, but the gavel cut her off, silencing her reign of terror once and for all.